Welcome, or perhaps today I shall say, bienvenue to Vintage Finds TV from 21st and 18th. I'm Lauren Lynch Wemple, founder of 21st and 18th. You're in my parlor. Welcome. I'm glad you're here today. On Vintage Finds, we unravel the history behind different vintage pieces that I source or that come into my life, or that some people ask me to do research on. Last week, we talked about Viennese silversmith Josef Karl Klinkosch, or JCK, as well as Orazio Gentileschi, the Italian artist, and his print, The Lute Player. This week, I'm bringing it back to my roots, a classic, someone who's very dear to my heart. It's Christian Dior. You know his name. You've lusted after the iconic silhouettes from the bar suit to pinhead-sized waistlines and iconic accessories for your shoulder worn by the characters of Sex and the City. Yes, my time-traveling, vintage-loving friends, it's Christian Dior. And I'm so happy that we are talking about Dior today. So the pieces we're going to be digging into are these two skirts. So I have sort of camel colored wrapped pencil skirt and then a plaid wool kilt. Quite different, but both skirts. Both have different histories, both are completely different styles, both are Christian Dior. We will be doing a deep dive on Christian Dior's life and the history of the maison he created. Today, think of it as our Dior amuse-bouche. So before we start looking at the history and the details of our Christian Dior skirts, let's talk about the man himself. Christian Dior was born in Normandy in 1905. In 1910, he and his family moved to Paris, where he grew up, and as a young man, he cut his teeth in the art industry. He opened a gallery in 1928, another gallery followed soon thereafter. And then he started to sell illustrations of his designs to milliners and couture houses. That work led to finally an in-house design job at houses like Piguet and eventually Le Long. After working at these other design houses, he opened Christian Dior on Avenue Montaigne, 30 Avenue Montaigne, on December 16, 1946. Tragically, Christian Dior died of a heart attack in 1957. But today, Christian Dior remains one of the preeminent couture and fashion houses globally, reporting a staggering $93 billion in revenue in 2023. So they're doing all right. Now for the vintage Dior pieces themselves. Ooh. So up first, as mentioned, we've got this beautiful camel pencil skirt. It's also a wrap, which is very cool. It's very well constructed. It has this beautiful belt that I love. The belt buckle is lined in what we'd say a self, so it's the same fabric as the skirt. This is interesting. This is from the Christian Dior Coordonnée collection, which is separates. This skirt is made in Italy. And it's really wonderful for houses like Dior that they've been around for a long time. When you have a nice preserved brand tag, you can date the piece pretty easily. So this piece is 1980s. I think it's probably 1981 to 1983. It would have come alongside another piece like a blazer, or maybe even two additional pieces. So it would be three pieces altogether. I really love this skirt. It's so classic and sophisticated. It fits you at the natural waist and it hits right there at the natural waist. So it just has that dreamy elegance that Dior is known for and that he debuted with in 1947. My husband, Wemple, actually got me this skirt as a Christmas present last year. Really well done by Wemple. I love it. It's just such a beautiful piece. It's so well made. It's lined with silk and all of the stitching, you can see the hem hand finished, which is really lovely. Usually you see those hand finished hems. I love this skirt. The way that I would style it, I would lean very much into sort of the French, I don't know, Madame de Pompadour, Marie Antoinette. I like pale colors, pastels with this camel. So I would love to wear it with a pastel blue blouse and then a pair of pumps I opted for Manolo Blahnik brown Dorsets that have this little bit of cheetah print on them. They're super fun. The pointed toe kind of classicism kind of offsets the cheetah print. And I'd pull my hair back into a low chignon at the nape of my neck. I'd wear a really beautiful vintage bag, and then I would also pair it with just like a lovely jacket when I needed to throw it on if it was a little bit chilly. But it's so elegant. You really don't need to do much when you're wearing this skirt. It's glorious. Our second vintage find today is this really beautiful Christian Dior plaid. I'm calling it a kilt because it feels like that, but it does not have a wrap. It has a zipper, but it's just so wonderful. I love this skirt. I'm a sucker for plaid. Maybe it's the Catholic schoolgirl in me. I wore uniforms most of my life, so perhaps it's that. I'm a creature of habit, but I also think that plaid, it goes with so many things. It's a fun pop of color. It's very classic, and it can be done up to be sort of sophisticated Lady of Madison Avenue, or it could be like played up in a fun street style way. I think there are loads of fun options for styling here. I also love really layering with plaid kilts. I have a bunch of plaid kilts. Most of them are from Scotland or England, but I love wearing loads of sweaters, coats, beanies, trainers, big socks. I think it's really fun. So I could go two directions here. This piece is Christian Dior separates. So this has a different tag than the camel skirt we just looked at. We can date this piece to 1984 to 1986. So if you look at the collections of Christian Dior at the time, and it's really hard to find footage of full collections, Vogue collections online or their runway will date back to 1998, I believe, but they don't go past then. You have to look at footage. You can get some videos, you can get some good old editorial content, but Vogue was doing a lot of plaid and kilted looks, some shorter. This is midi length. I'm 5'3", so it hits me midi, so middle of my calf. It sits at the natural waist. It's very fitted and it's beautiful. As you can see, it's kind of tacked down here and then the pleat opens up. So that's super flattering because it's fitted until just about your hips and then it opens up. So it's just really well done. It has these belt loops that I love. I will put loads of different belts through a scarf, or I just ignore them. Yeah, one of my favorites. I also love the orange in it. It's very different plaid to what you typically see. Like usually you get lots of navy blues, yellows, blacks, red in kilts or in plaid. And I just love this. We've got the burgundy, the browns, the olive green, the orange. Definitely 80s, which is so funny. It's so funny that I have both of these 80s Christian Dior skirts. I am obviously a sucker for 80s, and if you watched episode number 2 of Vintage Finds TV, you know that my Bob Mackie late 80s, 90s blazer, also a sucker for the same era. Geez, I've got a trend going on here. Interestingly, when I look at this Dior kilt, I am reminded, it might be older potentially. I was originally thinking, based on my research and what I was seeing from the collections in Dior in the mid 1980s, that it was certainly 84 to 86, which it could be. But if you look at the hem here, we see the hem tape very much done by hand. It's actually more custom looking than the hem on our camel wrap skirt, which is decidedly early 80s based on the tag. In terms of styling, I would keep on this turtleneck that I've got now. It's from Durf Avenue, and I would throw on the skirt. I'd put on a belt, and then I think I would opt for a pair of platform mules. So something different, a little bit chunkier. I would keep it really casual. And then again, I said I love my layers. I'd throw on a trench coat over this. Love the layers. I love the low-key look, kind of like this is an off-duty outfit or uniform. I like to call my outfits that are off-duty, that you just throw on, you look super put together, and you can get out into the world. It could take you from shopping, errands, meeting a friend, having lunch, doing some work, and you'll look perfect for all of those occasions. This is a great piece. If you see any Christian Dior plaid kilts, pleated skirts, I would say snap them up. I found this online and I'm so glad that I did snap it up. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Vintage Finds TV, focused on Christian Dior. If you're a lover of Dior, like me, we will be devoting the upcoming episodes of Vintage Finds TV to digging into the history and life of Christian Dior himself, as well as the creative direction at the Maison. We're going to be doing this by unraveling the stories behind different vintage pieces, as we do here. Pieces like my 1947 vintage Christian Dior ball gown worn at my wedding. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. If you like Christian Dior and you want to follow along and you're enjoying Vintage Finds TV, subscribe down below and visit our website, 21stand18th.com, to check out our newsletter where we talk about art, history, and fashion. We're always time traveling. Was that good, Scarlett? For all of you wondering, this is Scarlett. Isn't she so cute? She's just snuggled up. She is a big lover of French fashion. Really good on this. That's it for today. This is Lauren Lynch-Wemple and Scarlett signing off for Vintage Finds TV. Au revoir.